Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Taurus energy. And we're going to do this 10 card spread. The cards are kind of coming out kind of funny. That's why I'm kind of laughing here. We're going to do this 10 card spread to see what could be going on in Taurus energy. And we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because life's about learning lessons. Taurus energy is about, in high vibe, being a spiritual leader in the world where you act with character and integrity. You are who you say you are. And you act from a place of truth and love and treating other people the way you like to be treated. And, you know, we all got lessons learned about doing that. So some people have learned some more lessons than some other people. We all, in our more shadowy Taurus energy, which is earth sign energy, we can all be more caught up in the world, ego, image, status, ourself, be full of ourself, look to other things to indulge in, to make us feel better, or have a certain feeling like certain people or whatever would view us a certain way. You know, just kind of getting more caught up in the superficial and shallow. And, you know, you could have some people in your life that you think are more immature or stubborn or prideful or whatever. They in turn could have people in their life that they view that way, and it's kind of relative. And so could this be something particular that people in Taurus energy or Taurus energy at the big picture is dealing with? Yes, but we all tap into Taurus energy. So I view this as the overarching reason for the reading, with it kind of looking like the 8 or 9 of swords. It reminds me, of course, of Gemini energy. And Gemini energy talks about our dualistic nature of free will. And we either align with our more hopeful, believing, loving nature, or we align with our more about ourselves and more about the world nature. And whichever one is our truth, in Taurus energy, we take action and make decisions in our life based on whatever our free will truth is. And sometimes we get more mismatched relationships. We have other people in our life who are kind of more on the same page as us. Either way, we're going to go on a journey because life's about learning lessons. And we can either learn lessons the easy way or we can learn lessons the hard way. That's why I have a key on either side. We're going to learn lessons no matter what. And we come in contact with all these different people in the world to help us get more clear about what our truth is and what our truth isn't. Some people are still in a mental prison and can't decide what their truth is. Do I have hope and faith and belief in myself, in others, in love? Am I more about myself or the world or ego or image or self-indulgence? You know, what way do I want to live my life? And while some people can't decide, other people are picking a path. Because there comes a point in time, some people from the time they were young knew that they're motivated and inspired by love. Other people could have known since they were young, I'm kind of more about me or the world. You know, and then we live in a world of duality, and everybody's free to live their life the way they want. There just will be consequences to your decisions. If you're not very loving, other loving people might not want to hang out with you so much, you know. And for the people who can't decide, then they can be in a mental prison because they can't decide what kind of people they want to be in a relationship with. And while they can't decide, other people are moving forward with other people. So it's kind of interesting. Under the Journey card, we have the King of Swords, which is kind of, I view it, well, it's a thoughts card, but because it has a male figure on it, it makes me think of the King of Swords. Some people are going on a journey based on whatever their truth is. I'm more about this, or I'm more about that, or somewhere in between. And other people still are trying to figure out what their truth is. And, you know, the next card of the B card is the Virgo energy, which is about taking action to invest in whatever your truth is. And it's all to help us get more clear of the direction we want to go in life. We're all going to learn lessons, but who do we want to go on that journey with? If you know you're more maybe emotionally mature, more balanced, more just and fair? Do I want some of these things of the world? Yes. Do I want stability and security? Yes. Am I willing to put in work and effort to have some of those things? Yes. Do I also want loving, authentic, nurturing people in my life and be in jobs and friendships with people I enjoy? Yes. Other people might settle for jobs and friendships that aren't quite on the same page as them, but maybe there aren't people that are more on the same page as them. So, and we might stay in jobs maybe more for because we have a job and we might not care for it that much. But, the whole goal is for high vibe people. I want a good balance. I do want a job. I want a job I enjoy. I want to be with loving, encouraging, supportive people. Sometimes that isn't the case, and I kind of got to deal with some people who kind of view life differently than me. And maybe as time goes by, maybe I have Virgo energy, can talk about having learned the skills or something to be able to move on from certain situations with people who are more on the same page as you. Sometimes we have to stay in situations that we'd really rather not be in, but it is what it is. And for some other people also, it could be a journey of people being willing to stand up for themselves and speak their truth, because we can be in a mental prison about doing that and living our more authentic life, whether we're a more worldly, materialistic type person. What would people think? Or listening to our intuition and love to guide us. If we have people in our life who don't do that and they don't want us to do it, then it can be hard. Are we just going to stand up for our truth, or are we not? Everybody should live their authentic life. Instead of, we start out with the moon card, which is living a life of illusion. Who wants to live a life of illusion? Who wants to keep, the moon card can talk also about keeping things buried beneath the surface, because the opposite of the moon would be the sun. I might hide that I'm in a mental prison. I might hide that I have a lot of fear of love. I might hide that I'm really up in my head about my status and my ego and my image. you know, are we willing to deal with those issues for one? Or do we ignore them? Nope, I'm just going to keep them buried beneath the surface. Nope, I'm not going to reveal my truth. Nope, I'm not going to deal with my issues. High vibe people do listen to their intuition. If I have some fears and insecurities, they are willing to maybe pause. If they've been moving forward in life in a certain way, it's like, wait a minute. Do I want to keep investing in going in this direction? Maybe I shouldn't move forward in that direction. Why do I do what I do? What about some of the people I could be moving forward with in my life? Why do they do what they do? Why do I stay in this job, friendship, or relationship? Why do those people stay in this job, friendship, or relationship with me? What's my truth? What's your truth? Am I more motivated by truth and love, and I'm in relationships with people who are more fearful of love? Do I want to keep moving forward with people who are fearful of love or defensive, or, live more from their mind than their heart? And it's kind of more about creating this illusion. Oh no, I'm motivated and inspired by love, but oh my God, I have a lot of fear about love, but I want this to work, so I'll just create the illusion. It's kind of like living. I keep my more emotional nature imprisoned, and I operate more from my ego, and I try to create this illusion that I'm this certain type of person so people will keep moving forward with me in a relationship. But that's not really my truth. So, because we live in a world of duality where the masculine figures can represent how people are presenting themselves in the world, and when we present ourselves in the world in a certain way, just present ourselves in the world. We're going out in the world, taking action in the world, presenting ourselves a certain way. We either really are who we say we are, we're being truthful, or we're creating an illusion. And so the masculine figures can represent how people are presenting themselves in the world and taking action in the world, and that's considered masculine energy. But we really don't know how they think and feel, and that's where the feminine figures can come into play. So there can be males and females who are who they say they are, and they are more balanced within themselves, viewing the thoughts card as the King of Swords, represented by the scales of justice. They do work through some of their own fears and insecurities. They have had these life experiences in Virgo energy to have come in contact with different types of people in the world. It's helped them get more clear about what their truth is, what their truth isn't. They've learned to maintain balance within themselves, where before they could have been more tipped out of balance, and some of their life experiences have taught them, I need to work through my own fears and insecurities, stand up for what I believe in. I might not have been willing to do that before, but I have learned to stand up for myself and my truth, and I don't want to move forward in an illusion. If my intuition tells me that people are trying to manipulate me, control me, use my loving nature to manipulate me, who are more fearful of love, like to live more from their mind than their heart, and I know I want to work with people who are more free of those things that manipulate them to be loving, well, then I have to be willing to stand up for what I believe in to get the justice I deserve. Libra energy also talks about getting the justice you deserve, right? And what I could think is just and fair in a relationship, and my idea of Pisces energy can talk about our dreams, the dream life, something I would find emotionally fulfilling. Well, that can be different what other people think is just and fair and their idea of the dream life and what they find emotionally fulfilling. You know, sometimes more shadowy people want to be in relationship with more loving, nurturing, supportive, encouraging people, because it's great to be in a relationship with people like that. But that's not really the truth of who they are. And they could be defensive to investing in love. I'll create the illusion I'm loving, I'll act loving, I'll be loving, I will have, if it's a romantic relationship, I'll have intimacy with you, I'll enjoy the relationship, I'll do all the things, that's living more from your mind than your heart, that look like I am motivated and inspired by love. But that's not the truth. It might be good for my ego and image. A different relationship didn't work out. I want to look like I moved on into a different relationship. Maybe other people, maybe I used to be more up in my fear and my insecurity and my pride and my ego and my lust and my greed. Other people kind of realize that, or that I'm just more immature or something, and they moved on, and I want to look like I've moved on. I want to look like I've healed, grown, changed, matured also. The only difference is high vibe people really did do some work within themselves. That's what high vibe Virgo talks about. I did work within myself to look at those things that kind of manipulate me. So we have the moon, the fortune teller, and the anchor. We have our more worldly nature. We have our more intuitive, loving nature. We have free will. Which one, you could look at the fortune teller as kind of being our, kind of the voice in our own head. Because we either listen to our more self-indulgent, immature, fearful, whatever nature, or we listen to our more loving and encouraging one. Which one is the voice in our head telling us what to do? And we have free will. And some people, the anchor card says Capricorn, then we have fulfillment, which kind of reminds me of Pisces energy, and then we have the Aquarius star card. Am I more aligned with my more worldly nature, and more shadowy Capricorn can be that you're more thinking, I have to work with these things of the world, not listen to my intuition. But our intuition was given to us as a gift to help us navigate in this world. And I think like bats have sonar and porcupines have quills and, all the other animals in the animal kingdom that we're part of have their unique things to use. We were given our intuition. It is, in the great water, a great resource for us if we listen to it. But we've all got lessons to learn about listening to our intuition. Because in our worldly nature, there's these things we want to go indulge in that we're sure will make us happy. And that's like living the dream life. And I'll have all my dreams come into reality as kind of Aquarius energy represented by the star can be these dreams that we have. And in our worldly nature, there's a lot of things we do want to go indulge in. And things that we want to manifest that we're sure will make us happy. And sometimes we kind of, maybe for the first 30, 40 years of our life, we're kind of more aligned and kind of more tipped in favor of our more worldly nature instead of listening to our intuition. Because our intuition kind of wants us to see the truth through the illusion. If you make your life more about yourself or looking to these things of the world to be the answer, you're kind of getting caught up in the illusion. True emotional fulfillment, true abundance in Virgo energy, true justice in Libra energy comes from learning these lessons in life, maintaining balance within yourself, acknowledging I do have my dualistic nature. I know that my more immature, shadowy, selfish, prideful, defensive nature, whatever it is, can kind of tempt and manipulate me to live my life from my more shadowy nature. And then I also have people in my life who want me to live my life like that because they live their life that way. And then we'll be in a relationship, and by worldly standards, it could look victorious and successful in a lot of ways. But is it because we're more in a mental prison about loving and believing in ourselves and believing in our dreams? And are we getting in them and staying in them for reasons other than what's really kind of more aligned with our truth? And high vibe energy wants us to, sure, be in a relationship with people, but because love is supposed to be just and fair. And sometimes we will compromise our truth because we kind of want these things of the world. And how long are we going to keep compromising our truth because it looks good for the stability, for the security? I want a job, I have a job, I'm going to stay at this job. But it really, we don't find it maybe as emotionally fulfilling. Can there be things I do like about it? If it's a relationship, I could love them. But are they kind of harnessing their Libra energy in a more shadowy way? Or maybe they are kind of maybe more about these things of the world, and that's why they want to stay in it and want me to stay in it. Are they kind of more about themselves and a little bit more thinking because maybe they have some of these things of the world, which could be I have social clout, I'm attractive, I'm charming, I have money, I look like I'm getting justice in the world in some way, or people would view me as someone, like if they were in a relationship with me for whatever reason, like they have justice in the world. People can use a lot of different things because other people in the world want different things. That shadowy people kind of could be more, which is a shadowy Taurus relationship. Because I have these things of the world that you want, then I think it should be more about me. And I am the most important component to this relationship because of what they bring. Loving people aren't trying to use their loving nature or their looks or their charm or their money or whatever to manipulate people to stay in a relationship with them. And they don't abuse their power because they harness high vibe Libra energy. Love is supposed to be just and fair. I want to have my dreams come into reality. I am willing to maintain balance within myself. I am willing to put in work and effort to bring this dream into reality. And I want to be in relationships with other people who are on that same page, who are willing to hold themselves accountable, to maintain balance within themselves. It's not more about them. It's not more about the world. It's about putting in this work and effort together, maintaining perspective and balance. High Vibe Aquarius is about kind of maintaining perspective. I'm not going to get all up in my head. I'm not going to get all down in my emotions or my fears or whatever. I'm going to keep focused on the big picture. I want to work together with people I love. Everybody needs to be balanced. Everybody needs to put in work and effort to bring that dream into reality. Could one person have more where what they're able to bring in to contributing to that dream is more financial resources? Sure. Is one person what they contribute more contributing to a home life or something? Sure. But both people have to respect what the other person brings to the table and not think that what they bring is more important than what the other person brings. And you respect each other, that I bring what I bring, you bring what you bring, or we bring a mix, and and we take responsibility for maintaining balance within ourselves, kind of in expectation, maybe having that hope and faith and belief emotionally to operate from truth and love. The key card is Leo energy. And High Vibe Leo, again, is represented by the sun. Can we all have fears and insecurities? Can we all get up in our head? Can we all kind of get a little bit more caught up in wanting to be more about ourselves or have it our way or the highway to a degree? Yes, but we've all learned lessons in life that if I act that way, the people in my life who I love and who love me aren't going to stay in denial of the truth. Again, Leo energy represented by the sun. If I try to emotionally hide the truth or confuse people about the truth or manipulate the truth, and I'm kind of harnessing a more shadowy energy of being kind of more about myself, some other people in the world are going to be like, wait a minute, what? What's going on? I'm not going to keep moving forward in this. If this is the way you want to keep moving forward, we have a problem. Because I think you're harnessing more shadowy Leo energy, and I thought we were going to both harness more high vibrational Leo energy, where we work together being inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness, where it's not about us indulging our more immature, defensive, more about myself nature. I thought we had a dream, and I thought we were willing to put in the work and effort in that dream to bring that dream into reality. And shadowy Capricorn is represented by the devil. We can all kind of get where we're kind of like, well, can't it be more about me? And can't you indulge me? And can't I go indulge in these other things and still work with you in a relationship? It's like, we have to be on the same page. If you want to have some illusion that if you create this illusion, you're willing to put work and effort to have this new beginning with me, or like people could take a job or whatever, but then you kind of want to indulge yourself once you're in it. And that's what some people think. I'm just going to try to get someone to invest in moving forward with me, date me, marry me, hire me for a job. And then once they do, and I've had that new beginning, then I can go back to my normal way of being, which is where I like to indulge myself, living more from my mind than my heart. And that I call like judgment on maybe working more from my more emotionally intuitive nature. We could look at the great waters as all three of the water sign energies of Pisces and Scorpio and Taurus, Pisces and Scorpio and Cancer. And then they think they can go back. Aquarius, like Libra, is air sign energy. And like Gemini, I can go back to just living more from my mind than my heart. I just need to get them to hire me, get in a relationship with me, marry me. And then some people, again, more shadowy people try to get in relationships with more high vibe people. And high vibe people put in work and effort to make a relationship move forward in a balanced, loving way. To have high vibe Capricorn energy, to bring victory and success to the situation. And that's what some people's idea is. I'm just going to go get me someone who doesn't know the truth about me, that I do live more from my mind than my heart. I'm going to create an illusion. Oh no, I'm not more about me. I'm not more prideful or egotistical or manipulative, you know. No, I want to move forward with you in this relationship and have this new beginning. Oh gosh, it'll be great. It'll be so wonderful. And aren't you kind of in a mental prison about if your dreams will come into reality? And don't we want to work together to bring this dream into reality? But then their plan, if you live more from your mind than your heart, you probably have a plan and a strategy. And it isn't, if this isn't the truth of who they are, once we get on the journey, cool, they can put in that work and effort. And I get to focus on what's more important to me, which could just be indulging myself in the relationship, or more about ego or image or status or whatever. And I don't think I need to heal or grow or mature myself. It kind of makes me think of people who their end goal is to, I want a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or I want to get married. It's like, but that is the end goal in itself. Well, just that would make it look like I'm in this, living this emotionally fulfilling life, like I'm living the dream life, like my dreams have come into reality. Well, what do you plan to do when you get in it? Oh, I just planned the wedding for the last year and a half, 2 years. I don't know, don't they just work out? you know, don't you just kind of hide your fears and insecurities and kind of put in work and effort to look how victorious and successful you are and indulge in the relationship and, just kind of hope it all works out? We in earth sign energy of Taurus and Virgo and Capricorn, we do have to be practical. Shadowy Pisces is kind of getting caught up in illusion. Some people love love, but then they just want to indulge in new relationships. Oh my gosh, this is great. And oh my gosh, this is wonderful. And oh my gosh, isn't this living the dream life? And then people want them to put in work and effort to, relationships are supposed to grow and mature over time. And some people are like, well, I like the beginning phase. That's my favorite. It's like where I have to start kind of keep continuing to kind of put in work and effort to maybe heal and grow and mature myself, to work together with someone cooperatively to bring this dream into reality. Well, because I hide that I kind of have these illusions about life. And once other people kind of, the fulfillment card is kind of reminding me of the Nine of Cups, and the Virgo energy also is represented by the Nine of Pentacles, which is about being more independent. When the people in the relationship want them to become more independent from an initial phase of relationship, we got lots of things to navigate in relationships or marriages and children that can take 10, 20 years, right? But when other people become more independent of that phase of life and have worked through some of their fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs to really kind of ready to move forward in their life differently, having more hope and faith and belief in their dreams, like, I am ready to go to the next phase of life. I was on this journey. I viewed life a certain way. I had a certain way of viewing life. It was just and fair. That is how I viewed life. But now, in Virgo energy, that I've learned some lessons in life, And I kind of think I maybe learned everything I needed to learn there. I'm ready to move forward in life differently. That's when there can be a problem in a relationship. Because the other person's like, I never planned to go to that next phase. My truth is, I want to keep doing this. For me to go to that next phase, I would probably have to shed light on kind of this way of viewing life and relationships, and I could be more still caught up more in the world or myself or living more from my mind than my heart. And to move forward in life differently, I have to face my fears of maybe being more authentically myself, more bold and brave and confident. Maybe I'd have to put in more work and effort than I did at this phase of life. So that's when some people are like, we got different dreams, and the other person's thinking, you're right, we do have different dreams. And they go back and repeat this pattern with someone else, but the other people did learn the lesson they were meant to learn. They are willing to face their fears of kind of stepping into unknown territory and kind of picking up anchor in an old way of living life that was kind of in their comfort zone. But even though they have fear, their intuition is telling them, you've kind of completed that phase of life. You get the star. If you were to look at life as first grade through 12th grade, if you're willing to learn these lessons in life, you can kind of grow to your full potential. But as human beings, if you looked at sixth grade in the scan of life lessons, that could practically be being like a 35 or a 40-year-old. And do I look at life any differently? Do I think there's anything more to life than the way I could have lived my life the first 30, 40 years of my life? Do I think I'm capable of more, or that even though I might have all these things in the world that make me look like a shining star, is there things that, because shadowy energy can be those things that limit us, restrict us, just make us feel like we can't, like we're not letting that seed come up with us having the knowledge of the tree and good and evil. It's like that next seed, that next aspect of ourself is like ready to be given birth to, but we have free will not to do it. No, I'm going to call judgment on that. I'm just going to keep doing this. Because to go to that next phase of life might mean I have to call judgment on some ways of viewing life where I was more about myself or caught up in things of the world. And you have to get out of your ego to be willing to learn these lessons and admit maybe I got some lessons to learn. And maybe I need to call judgment on just being too caught up in myself or these things of the world. And that there's so much, do I think there's more to just a life in a way of indulging myself or in the world? That there's a higher truth and justice at play. And there is, because we wouldn't kind of feel that way, but we have to be willing to listen to our intuition and be willing to deal with the truth that I do feel kind of limited and restricted here. Like I'm not, I do feel there's more. I'm going to see if I can pause this video for a moment because I know someone came in the house. Just a minute. Okay. There is someone in the house. Okay. So, and some people right now could be thinking about that, and it's confusing. We did have these dreams we wanted to bring into reality. We could have been hoping that some people in our life who we do feel either have fears and insecurities about more authentically investing in relationships, or are more caught up and manipulated by the world or other people in their life or whatever. It can keep us kind of anchored and stuck. And eventually we work through it. to deal with the truth of it. I do have a dream, and if there's people in my life that their truth and what they want to invest their time, energy, and effort into, and what they value and make more important in their life, if it's protecting themselves in their self-defensive nature, I don't want to do love, I get hurt, it's like, okay, my dream can't come into reality with them. And the truth, with the Leo card representing the sun, is like seeing through the illusion and the fear and all those things, to be willing to love ourselves. My dream can only come into reality with people who are on the same page as me. And if I offer truth and love and encouragement to people, I can't make other people work through their issues, or if they have a way of viewing life that they find fulfilling, then, they have the right to live their life that way. And that I believe that the divine had a plan and wants us to be in a relationship with people who are on the same page as us. But we have to be willing to deal with the truth and not keep being manipulated. Like, well, but I'm afraid, what if I leave this job or this friendship or this relationship? I'm afraid my dream won't come into reality. Well, we all need to take that time within ourselves to make those decisions within ourselves and listen to our intuition about it. And as we work through it and we become more independent, and then I view high vibe Leo as giving ourselves the things that we wish other people would have given us. So maybe also getting out of more codependent energy, looking to other people to love us. That I need to learn to love myself, to free myself. Because if I keep having things that manipulate me, there's always going to be people in the world that are kind of in their shadowy energy that can manipulate me because of it. So I need to love myself and become more independent emotionally of the past, work through my fears and insecurities to trust in the bigger plan at play. If things were maybe more meant to work out, they would have worked out. But we can all, shadowy energies being in our ego, we can keep staying in denial of the truth, and we can keep being in our ego like, no, God, I wanted this to work. Make it work. And God's like, they have free will. I know, but I think this would be just and fair, and this is my dream. Make it work. It's like, they have free will. And they are on their own journey, and the moon can talk about the fact that, we don't see the bigger picture, but everybody is kind of driven and motivated by what they're driven and motivated by, and it could be things buried in their subconscious, things they don't even know why certain things drive and motivate them to do what they do. And some people were very good at creating an illusion about the person that they were, and we kind of bought into the illusion, but then their actions are kind of showing that isn't really who they are. So we accept the truth of it, and we get out of our ego, and we give ourselves the things we wish they would have given us to be more independent. We hold the key to freeing ourselves. Someone else doesn't hold the key to freeing us. And that's when I don't know, you could even look like going into the great water is going into the world, I'm going to go find people who emotionally seem to be more on the same page as me. And I'm going to call judgment on that old dream to let it go. That was an experience I went on. It helped me get more clear about what my truth is and what my truth isn't. It helped other people figure out more what their truth was and what their truth wasn't. I do want to move forward, being more authentic, being more free from things that manipulate me, living my more authentic life. I view High Vibe Virgo as using your own unique talent, skills, and interests. And sometimes when you're, maybe before people could have been kind of more on the same page, more caught up in the illusion of the world, and maybe didn't even know what some of their unique talent, skills, and interests were, things that were unique to them and I think we've been given our unique talent, skills, and interests to help bring our dreams into reality. And sometimes we didn't even know what those things were, right? Till we go through life and have more life experience. And maybe some people did know more, and they were putting in work and effort into what was kind of victorious and successful for them. And they could have liked that you still didn't know what yours was. But then when you did kind of come into your own and kind of discovered some of your own unique talent, skills, and interests, like, damn, I would have never thought I like landscaping, but gee, I think I'd like to work for a landscaping company or start my own land. It's because it's things you didn't. Who did that when you were young, probably, unless you helped your parents do it. And then when you want to go invest in that, that's when sometimes some people's more shadowy, controlling nature can come out because they liked it when it was kind of more about them. And now that it would have to be more balanced, where you want to invest in your own unique things that, is kind of where maybe you could look like a shining star in some way, then they kind of don't like that. Shadowy energy is competitive energy. And they kind of don't like that you're kind of more coming maybe into your own or being more independent, where maybe before, because this is a young female, it can represent anybody, male or female, but emotionally, you could have been more codependent on people in a relationship. And then as you're doing this work within yourself, you're becoming more independent. And that's when it kind of gets other people in a mental prison because, you're not the same person that you were before. And it is kind of like being in a relationship with someone different. You don't think the same. You don't feel the same. You don't view life the way you used to view it. And they still might look at life the same. And then they have to decide, this also requires me to kind of have hope and faith and belief in that different way of moving forward. And what's my truth? Do I let my fear kind of manipulate me and I want to keep doing this old pattern? Am I willing, if it requires me to be more loving and encouraging and supportive of other people's dreams? Am I willing to do that? Am I willing to be more authentically myself and quit keeping myself imprisoned emotionally? Am I willing to have more hope and faith and belief in other people, even if it's just to take a relationship to a different level or promote someone to a higher level of responsibility in a workplace, right? Regardless, high vibe people are listening to their intuition. They realized and accepted the truth that in everybody's Taurus energy, they have their way of viewing life. And you're going to live your life the way you want to live it. Be the type of person you are. If you are bossy, controlling, manipulative, petty, immature, I'm not going to take it personally. Because high vibe people are offering truth and love to work together with people in a just and fair way. And if other people seem to have a problem with that, it's like, I don't have to understand everything about why you do what you do, because, you can just... Who has time for that? I just accept that you're not quite open to working together with people in a more cooperative, just and fair and loving way. I will let you work through your issues. I am not going to try to change you. I probably before tried to change people. I could have gotten in my ego about it. And that's kind of what you have to realize, and that some high vibe people have realized, that when people aren't treating you and working together with you, being more authentic, acting with character and integrity, high vibe Taurus, being more just and fair, it can be because that's not how they want to move forward. They do like to be able to maybe manipulate and control people. And when you keep maintaining balance within yourself, letting other people be the way they want to be, make the decisions they make, and you keep maintaining your balance, and it's like, yeah, I don't think we view life the same, so I'm going to wish you peace. I might have to be around you. I might have to work with you, but I'm going to invest more of my time, energy, and effort not on you and this, I'm going to invest in focusing on my job, my work, my dream, other people in the world who do work together with me more cooperatively. And then some of those people will be in a mental prison because their way to try, just their mode of operating in the world, it didn't work. And then it's like, shit, I shouldn't have kind of indulged myself in my more defensive, egoic, manipulative way of being because it didn't work on them. And those people are intuitive and they did see the truth about it. And if I wanted to try to repair that relationship, I might kind of have to take responsibility and get out of my ego and, speak my truth or just start working with them in a more just and fair way. And have I people, if people want to work together with you in a more just and fair way, some people, if it's work, thank goodness, we need more people kind of being less stubborn or prideful or immature or whatever. And other people, it might be, I kind of, if we have to work with people or they're just in our community or whatever social things that we do, you just have to deal with people. But I'm not going to invest that much time, energy, and effort into you because you've already shown me the truth of who you are. And for people to really change how they operate in the world, that is at a very core foundational level. And that's not easy to change. That can take years or decades or never happen. And so, can we be more gracious to certain people? Maybe more because we just have to, because Taurus can represent workplaces, family, community, institutions, clubs, groups, families, yeah, can represent all those things. And we deal with all these different people who have all these different ways of viewing life and what they think is just and fair and their emotional maturity level, right? And there could be other people that if your intuition tells you that they are the same person that they were. They have not been illuminated to the truth. It's just trying to create the illusion that they're more willing to indulge you for how they'll benefit from it. Again, if it's maybe like a work or a social situation, it's like whatever it is so that we can all work together in a more cooperative way. I don't really care if you feel like you're having to indulge me in some way and temper your ego. You might maybe learn that things flow better when you temper your ego or whatever. But if it's people that want you to more invest in them, if you've already seen the truth, it's like I was already truthful, working with you in a just fair way, being loving and encouraging, and you kept showing me over and over and over and over that wasn't your truth. And then when I called judgment on you and I'm going to move away, oh, well, then all of a sudden you do decide you want to work with me. It's like, no, I just think it's because you're seeing what you're going to lose before you didn't appreciate it, but because you might be more codependent on me than I am codependent on you, for whatever reason. Now, you're in a mental prison. You thought you could do these things to confuse me and manipulate me, and it didn't work, and I called judgment on you. Well, when some people communicate with people, I'm going to let you do this with someone else, and I'm going to move on. They're ready to move on. And until, these people might need to go have some more life experience and go try this ways of being on some other people. Because you being just and fair and truthful and honest and loving and inspiring and trying to work together with them, that didn't work. So they might be some people who kind of got to learn some lessons the hard way, just like the rest of us did. And they're going to go take their show on the road and try to do this with someone else. And if they keep having judgment called on them, maybe eventually they might be willing to consider that maybe there's some things in their belief system, some truths they have that they don't want to let go of, that they need to look at. The King of Swords holds one sword. I'm kind of viewing this card as the Eight of Swords. The difference between the 8 and the 1 is the Seven of Swords, which is Aquarius energy, where people can keep thinking, oh, no, 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 I don't have to listen to my intuition. No, 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 I don't have to look at life from a higher perspective. No, no, no. I can still make it more about me. I'm smarter than these people. These people are loving people. I think they're suckers. I think I can keep manipulating them to get them to do what I want. Or they're prideful, or they're egotistical, or they're lustful. I'll just keep trying to manipulate people to get what I want. And the people who might keep staying in a relationship with them and indulge them in those ways might be someone who says, well, this makes logical, practical sense to me. Is this good for my ego and my image? Is it really maybe what I wanted to invest in? No, but maybe that didn't work out. So again, it's kind of like investing in an illusion. Do we really want people to be in a relationship with us, creating an illusion? Because if people aren't in a relationship with you because of love, well, it's always wondering if someone better will come along. And then if someone else better does come along, sorry, I've decided not to move forward with you. I've called judgment on this dream. This person over here could seem to be someone who has more status, more image, more fear, more insecurity, more willing to indulge me, if that's what they're driven and motivated by. And that's what some people are always looking for. Because it's like an addiction. It's like people being addicted to indulging in things of the world to make them feel better. I don't want to put work and effort into dealing through my fears and insecurities. I'm just going to go indulge in these things to feel better. Or I'm going to go get in a different relationship. Because some people use relationships like they use drugs or booze to make themselves feel better. And some people make their life more, if I only have more image, more status, more power, more money, that'll make me happy. That's the answer. And it becomes like they always need more and more and more. I need more attention. I need someone more codependent on me. I need someone more to control. I need someone with more money or more status, more clout. And it's like a bottomless pit because they haven't been illuminated to the truth. They keep deciding to align with their more worldly, egoic nature because for some reason they really have a lot of fear about doing love. Because when you do love, you get hurt. And some people are like, I'm not doing that. That could be for suckers. They get manipulated by people. They get hurt. I'm not doing that. It's like, okay, well, you go live your life the way you want to live it. And the high vibe people aren't going to give up on their dreams. They just called judgment on the people in their life who they thought were on the same page as them, realize they're not, and they make the decision and they're ready to go have this new beginning. To invest in people who are more on the same page as them. And until they find the people that are more aligned with them, they're going to keep investing just in the people in their life who are loving and encouraging and their jobs and their careers and enjoy their life and enjoy their day, not living a life of illusion, not being in relationships with people who are immature or bossy or controlling or egotistical or abusive or whatever. I'm going to go enjoy my damn life and you go repeat this pattern with someone else. Okay, what's coming up for the high vibe people they don't see coming? 3 cards not seeing themselves, and then the Queen of Wands. And the reason it came out is because of the Knight of Pentacles. And again, the Knight of Pentacles, just like this card over here, because you were motivated and inspired to get to the truth. And even if this isn't other people in your world, it's just your own issues within yourself. I don't like going out in the world creating this illusion that I'm this more balanced person than I really am, when really I could have a lot of fears or insecurities. And I want to not stay emotionally kind of anchored in those things. And I'm inspired to free myself. And I'm going to put in this work and effort. That's Virgo energy. I have to invest time, energy, and effort to figure out, why do I let my more egoic nature manipulate me? And then the whole thing is, when you learn this about yourself, you have a lot more insight into other people. And if you do this, it's painful. You have to deal with those past pain and heartbreak, the not feeling good enough, the rejection of the past, and it's all offering truth and love to yourself, so you can offer love and compassion and forgiveness to yourself for the lessons you've had to learn, and the healing and the growing, and realizing some people in your life didn't do that, and you offer them love and compassion because you know how hard it is. And as you're moving forward, what some people see you moving forward, and you're looking emotionally very stable and grounded and inspired, and like you're balanced and all that. And some people who are more shadowy, who create illusion in the world, they can't figure out how you're creating such a good illusion. That's what they're trying to do, but it could not be working. And they don't know how you're doing it. But you're not creating an illusion. You have put in the work and effort to offer love and compassion to yourself, to free yourself from things that used to manipulate you. And what some people don't realize about you is that previously, if you did harness these energies in a more shadowy way, and then you could have been hanging out with some people in the world that were at that stage of life, that you were willing to detach from those people because you didn't want to align with that energy within yourself, and you offered them truth and love to move forward with you. Some of those people did, and some of those people didn't. And what they don't realize is you harness these energies in a more high vibrational way. And that's why you're different. Oops. So we have the King of Pentacles and the Devil, and the Page of Pentacles in reverse. That is interesting. It's 3 earth sign energies. The Page of Pentacles represents like all 3 of them, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. I view the King of Pentacles as Capricorn energy. The Virgo energy of the Knight of Pentacles wants to become the King of Pentacles. I want to heal and grow and mature myself, and I'm willing to put in this work and effort to free myself from the devil, basically things that manipulated me. And I'm no longer in that more immature energy where I invest more in my ego or my defensive nature, or looking to other people to be that loving, nurturing person in my life. But I'm still haven't learned to love myself, because then I can get in toxic relationships. The Devil card looks just like the Lover's card, except they're chained and shackled. If I don't learn to love myself and feel more stable and grounded within myself, there's other people in the world who want to abuse my loving nature, or because I'm not requiring justice and fairness and for people to treat me the way I treat them, I'm kind of out of balance. And so then other people can take advantage of it and try to get in a relationship and move forward in a relationship with me because it's good for their ego and image. And it's like, no more. I don't want to be in a relationship with people who present themselves as being these stable, grounded, emotionally mature, loving family people when that's really not what drives and motivates them. It's more the ego and the image and the money and the indulgence of being in a relationship. I am not the immature person I used to be, and I'm not doing that anymore. And I have freed myself from my more immature worldly nature. And I'm listening to my intuition from now on instead of my more worldly nature to guide my decisions. And I think as you move forward in that energy, there are other people who see you not taking action more out of pride or ego and fear and insecurity and codependency and lust and greed. And there's other people who want to be in relationship with you because of it. Because with you, they could have justice. You're authentic, you're warm, you're loving, you're insightful, you're balanced, you're self-aware, you get out of your ego to be willing to learn lessons in life. You've healed, you've grown, you've matured yourself. Yeah, you're someone that people want to invest in workplaces, friendships, and romantic relationships if you're not in one. What's coming up for the more shadowy, worldly Taurus people of the world that they don't see coming? The Knight of Wands. Why? Because of the Ace of Wands. Well, shadowy people can always have people in their life. The Knight of Wands and Sagittarius in high vibe is about higher learning and education. And it's fire sign energy that people can be drawn and attracted people, or they're just their friends and family members. And they offer these people love and encouragement, trying to inspire them to, the high vibe people in their life, try to inspire them to work through some of these issues, just like the other high vibe people in their life have. To deal with the truth, to get more balanced, to get more stable and grounded. But the more shadowy people are kind of more inspired to harness more shadowy Sagittarius. I don't really want higher learning and education. I'm not motivated to learn lessons in life. I want to keep doing what I've been doing. You know, some people who've already been in friendships and relationships with these people already did see the truth, and those people moved on. And if these people keep kind of indulging their more immature nature, other people in their life see the truth of it. Well, there they go again. Instead of, they justify these actions that they take, which they don't want people to know about. And they could take action out of fear, insecurity, immaturity. They could just want to go be a player, because that's like shadowy Knight of Wands. I just want to go indulge myself. If people want me to grow and heal and mature myself, I don't want to do that. I just want, I'll get in a relationship and indulge in it for as long as it lasts. But when they want me to bring justice to the situation, nope, gotta go. And I'm going to go repeat this pattern with someone else who doesn't know the truth, that I'm kind of more about indulging myself in relationships. And I'll indulge myself in it until you are illuminated to the truth that your dream is not coming into reality. But as long as you want to stay in denial of the truth, hey, I'll keep staying in relationships as long as it works for me and good for my ego and my image. But once you do see the truth and you want me to move forward in life differently and requiring more justice or fairness or whatever, see ya. And they might have had some people in their life, if it's more of a romantic interest, that were attracted to them, wanted to have a new beginning with them, have been trying to be that loving and encouraging person in their life. But eventually those people kind of grow up. I can love people. I can be attracted to people. I could have adult children, siblings, parents, friends, coworkers. But eventually, Again, all I can do is provide people like a loving and encouraging environment or friendly ear until those people get inspired within themselves to work through these issues to free themselves. These people keep looking to other things to be the answer. They don't want to listen to their intuition. They don't want to deal with the truth. No, that's not the answer. I think these other things are the answer. If I make my life about those things or indulge in those things, I'm sure that's the answer because they think these other people are wrong. No, it's not about being more independent. No. If I stay more codependent on my friend group or my family or the world or my ego or my defensive nature, that's what's going to make me happy long term. Okay. Well, they're going to keep repeating an old pattern. Other people see the truth of it. Other people move on, learn more lessons in life. And we'll all keep repeating a pattern until we're willing to learn the lesson we're meant to learn from it. And some people are just very prideful and egotistical and full of themselves. I view myself as this just and fair and stable and grounded and victorious or successful or attractive person. There'll be someone else who wants to be in a relationship with me. I don't have to heal or grow or mature myself, male or female. And they're right. There will be other people who want to be in a relationship with them who don't know the truth of them. And with that next person, this whole scenario could play out again. Or they'll kind of end up in a relationship, which would be just and fair, to be in a relationship with someone who's more like themselves. Well, I kind of create an illusion that I'm more just and fair and stable and grounded and emotionally mature than I am too. I like to live more from my mind than my heart. I like to try to manipulate people. I'm kind of emotionally immature, kind of in my ego and in self-indulgent. And I've decided I think that's just and fair and people should want to be in a relationship with me and they could get in a relationship with someone who's just willing to indulge them for how they benefit. That's a shadowy Taurus relationship. It's not about acting with character and integrity and treating other people the way you want to be treated. In truth and love, it's a more transactional relationship. Well, what do you have and how can I benefit? Well, if you seem to have more than what I have, then I'll indulge you. But if I seem to have more than you, then you need to indulge me. And some of these people who view life that way, they had relationships with more loving, nurturing people, but because they were kind of full of themselves, you weren't indulging them enough. And they wanted to go find someone who was maybe less independent to indulge them more in a relationship, make it more about them. Then they could have went and gotten in a relationship with someone who was more like them. Well, in any relationship, there has to be some give and take. And are we willing to kind of be willing to admit that we have some lessons learned? And it's still hard to find someone who's more on the same page as you. And they could have gotten in a relationship with someone who's like, well, you're kind of requiring me now to grow and heal and mature some. And no, you can go and I'll just go find someone else to indulge me in a relationship. So kind of karma, what goes around comes around. And then they still could be trying to find someone who kind of seems to be on the same page as them. They both might be people who are more motivated by themselves or the world and looking like they have a certain status and image is most important to them. And some people are trying to decide right now if the person they're in a relationship with is someone who they think will kind of always be more motivated by that way of living life. If so, they might move forward with them in a more committed relationship. If they're so long as they're kind of equally balanced on, let's do the illusion, I indulge you, you kind of indulge me, and we keep, neither one of us kind of seem to be where neither one of us really requires the other one to heal or grow or mature, that we're kind of compatible, maybe on work and effort that we could put into a relationship where someone's not a lot more immature or whatever, then they might. And then some people is like, well, I don't even want a more equally balanced. I do want someone who's more immature. A king would be more mature than a knight. And if they like someone who's more codependent, who kind of looks to them as like God in their life, that can be what some of them want. And if they think some of the people or a person in their life seems to be that type of person, then they might move forward with them in a relationship. But the thing is, they always are still going to go do more immature things, even though they try to present themselves as maybe a pillar of society. Because they get caught up in their head and their fear or indulging themselves, they, if nothing else, will take immature action in this relationship, and the other person might have to call judgment. Or they're not realizing they're in a relationship with someone who likes to be in a relationship with people like them. You didn't really want to heal and grow and mature yourself and be more authentic and kind of willing to step out. You're kind of big on ego and image. I'm going to use that to manipulate you. And I'll get in a relationship with you. This works for me. Good for my ego and image. And, there's always bigger fish in the sea looking for people who have certain ways of being. Just like shadowy people can prey on loving people, other shadowy people can prey on other shadowy people. You're really about your ego and your image, huh? Perfect. I'll create an illusion that I want to be in a relationship with you. Do you have these things of the world that I want? Perfect. And then I just might decide, no, I've had enough, I want to move on. Then I'll maybe get out of the relationship and take whatever I can take from it. Or maybe it helped improve my status and image. And really, that was the only reason I wanted to get in the relationship. And once it improved my status or image, then I'm going to get out of the relationship with you to go get, kind of like a social climber, to go get in a relationship with someone else. People don't view me the way they viewed me before. People kind of could have been confused about what type of person I am. You seem to have a certain status and image, conduct yourself a certain way in the world. Perfect. I'll get in a relationship with you so it creates the illusion I'm that type of person too. And then there's maybe someone else who I really would rather be in a relationship with who will view me that way. Shadowy people try to steal from other people. They try to steal love from them. They try to steal their dreams from them. They try to be in a relationship to make it seem like they're that type of person, and then when they think people view them as that way of person, then they think they can go take their show on the road. But the only problem is, it is all a mental construct. It's not really the truth of who they are. And you can hide the truth of who you are for a while, but it gets harder and harder to hide the truth of how you like to indulge yourself in some way. And eventually they probably take action on it and then are in a mental prison that people saw through the illusion and don't view, why not just go live your authentic life and quit trying to create an illusion about who you are? And how about, why is it so awful to treat other people the way you treat them? But I don't know, some people could think they're really smart, and it's kind of the sparring game of seeing who I can manipulate and who I can take things from and who I can get to bend to my will, I guess, in their ego. High vibe people, it's like, I'm going to let you play your games and I'm moving on. I see the truth of who you are. And as I've learned these lessons, I more pick up on people when they seem to be a little snubbing, a little, it doesn't always have to be about us. We can extend people grace. They could be having a bad day. But, when things keep going on, it's like, I just see you're kind of a more immature, self-absorbed, maybe manipulative, ego image type person. I wish you peace. I think it's not going to work out so well for you. And I'm going to go spend my time and effort with people who I think are more mature. And, everybody has the free will to live their life whatever way they want, and justice will be served, And I think when people invest in truth and love, I think the high vibe energy of truth and love kind of protects you energetically. Just staying in an energy of balance protects you. Other people can sense that they can't manipulate and control you. They sense that, you know, if they were to try to put something by you, that you're very intelligent and smart too, if nothing else, just from life lessons, and you'll see through the bullshit. And the immature people realize they got to go find someone who's more on their stage of life to try to go manipulate, because it's not going to be you. So there you go, Taurus. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.